In this tutorial, we're going to learn a technique called multing, which is using multiple audio tracks, each with their own plugin effect, to process a single audio clip quickly and efficiently without the need for automation. First, let me play you a dry drum loop here. Okay, that sounds alright, but by using this multing technique and clipping out parts of that clip and placing them in other tracks, I can make a much more lively texture. Let me now mute that track and play it for you. Alright, you can hear it's much more lively. If we look at the mix window, you'll see I have effects inserted on most of the tracks. There's some delays at different tempos, reverb, filters. I even have a couple tracks that are set to pan hard left and hard right, so when I drag the audio in, it'll automatically pan and I can sort of ping pong back and forth. So the main thing to learn with this, once you've set up all the tracks, is how do you clip out copies or subset clips from this main clip and move them around in your session. So I'm going to zoom in. Actually, let me remove some of the existing clips now so we can add our own. Okay, so a couple things about edit modes. I have the program set to edit in relative grid mode. That's so if I cut out a clip whose hit is a little bit before the beat and I move that, it will stay relative to the beat the same way, a little bit before the beat, and won't change the sound. And I'll also use the tab to transient function. This is probably more effective on a natural drum groove like this than editing right to the grid. You might clip something off. So let's try it. I'm going to click my mouse here and I'm going to hit tab. We're moving along the transients, and I'm going to hold the shift key, and now I've selected one of the drum hits. The next thing we need to do is separate this into its own little clip. So if we go to edit, separate clip at selection, or shortcut Apple E, we get this new clip. The last thing I want to do is drag this into another track. So if I take the hand tool, I can just grab it and move it. That's okay, but it's nice to keep the source track intact in case I want to use this more than once at this point for two different effects possibly. So I'll hold down the Option key and drag, and it leaves a copy of the original there. So now I have a little filter sound. Let's hear it. Okay, so we heard that hit with a little filter. Some other editing tricks that are nice. Let's say you get a little extra sound you don't want. You go to slip mode and use the trim tool, and now I can trim a little bit off the end. Or let's say I trim this out of here and I want it to have a little more. I could just trim it out. Again, it'll look at the parent audio file and take whatever was there. So now let's hear it. Okay, so I have a little bit more for that particular moment. There are also some faster ways even than that to take out our clip. Let me go back to where we started. If we go up to the toolbar here and we hold the grabber tool, there's also a what's called separation grabber, which is made just for this process. So I'm going to select some music here. Maybe a larger chunk. And if I go to the grabber tool, notice it has a little scissors. So if I hold the Option key to leave a copy and grab and move, it automatically cuts the clip out without cutting up the source file. Now let's hear what we have. Okay, so we have a filtered version of the drum part. If you do this cutting and you find that you have separated it more than you wanted to, let's say you accidentally did this, separate clip, and it made a bunch of clips, but you want them to be together, you can simply highlight what you had done. I'm holding the Shift key, and if you go to edit, you can also heal with Apple H, and it brings it back together. So that's the basic idea of multing. It's pretty simple. You can be super creative. It's very easy to move stuff around quickly. You could even EQ each of your effects tracks differently. So endless possibilities.